to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Good evening, I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching ASEAN in Focus. On tonight's headlines. President Marcos Jr. just wrapped up his state visit to China, and the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that both sides agreed to carry on their traditional friendship.
President Xi and I.
And President Marcos also said that the new agreement establishing a joint direct communication mechanism between the governments of China and the Philippines is geared at avoiding incidents in the West Philippine Sea. From Tokyo's Asakusa hotspot for tourists to the resort island of Bali, restaurant owners and guides are gearing up for an influx of travelers after Beijing ends inbound quarantine rules. And flood watches were in place over a swathe of California after a powerful storm dumped several inches of rain. First in our news, President Marcos Jr. just wrapped up his state visit to China, and the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that both sides, or both leaders of China and the Philippines, agreed to carry on their traditional friendship. Here's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning.
Is President Marcos's first visit to China after taking office. It is also his first visit to a non-ASEAN country, and he's also the first foreign leader China has received in 2023. All this speaks to the importance both sides attach to our relations. Yesterday, President Xi Jinping held long, in-depth talks with President Marcos, reaching new consensus on the future development of our relations and offering strategic guidance. Premier Li Keqiang and Chairman Li Zhanshu met with President Marcos respectively. The two sides also released a fruitful joint statement. Both agree that we need to carry forward our traditional friendship. The two heads of state spoke highly of the exchange of friendly relations between our two countries, especially how the Chinese leaders of the older generation and the father of President Marcos worked together for the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. President Marcos said that his family has a deep tie with China. He himself was part of the history of the establishment of ties, and he will carry forward our traditional friendship. The Philippines sees China as its strongest partner, and nothing can hold back the continuation and development of our friendship. Both agreed to elevate our friendly relations. The two presidents agreed to jointly open a new chapter in our comprehensive strategic cooperative relations. And we will be good neighbors helping each other, good relatives with affinity, and good partners pursuing win-win cooperation. And we will elevate bilateral relations to a new high. This visit is yet another milestone in our two countries' friendly relations. It sets the course and lays the foundation for the future development of bilateral ties. The two sides agreed to expand practical cooperation. In particular, we will seek greater synergy between the Belt and Road Initiative and the Philippines Build Better More program, focus on cooperation in 4 priority areas, including agriculture, infrastructure, energy, and people-to-people exchanges, to drive our two countries' modernization and deliver more benefits to both peoples. The two sides extended a MOU on Belt and Road cooperation and signed more than 10 cooperation documents covering agriculture, infrastructure, e-commerce, finance, customs, and tourism. The two sides agreed to deepen strategic mutual trust. The two presidents reiterated commitment to properly handle maritime issues through continued friendly consultation, and announced to resume discussion on joint oil and gas development. The two foreign ministries also established a communication mechanism on maritime issues, The two sides also held strategic communication on major international and regional issues and agreed to focus on cooperation and development and jointly safeguard peace, development in the region, uphold multilateralism, and safeguard developing countries' shared interests. This visit marks a good start in bilateral relations in the new year. It will give a strong boost to the development of our relations. We stand ready to work with the Philippines to be guided by the two presidents' consensus and write a new chapter in our millennium-old friendship, expand mutually beneficial cooperation, deepen strategic mutual trust, work for solid and sustained progress in our relations to support our national development and contribute to regional peace and stability. Next one, please.
Meanwhile, President Marcos Jr. said that the new agreement establishing a joint direct communication mechanism between the governments of China and the Philippines is geared at avoiding incidents in the West Philippine Sea. The two leaders announced the agreement in a joint statement released on the final day of President Marcos' official state visit to Beijing. Now, this communication line would be opened between the Maritime and Ocean Affairs Office of the Philippines, Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Department of Boundary and Ocean Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China. Let's listen in.
President Xi and I also had an in-depth and frank discussion on the West Philippine Sea issue. We took note of our growing maturity of this bilateral relationship. This bilateral relationship which now allows both sides to manage differences in the West Philippine Sea so as to not allow it to hinder the rest of our fruitful engagements and multifaceted cooperation. I emphasized to President Xi how my administration intends to pursue an independent foreign policy, that we are more than willing to cooperate whenever possible in the pursuit of regional peace and our two countries' national interest. We agreed that maritime issues between the two countries do not comprise the entirety of our relations, but we acknowledge as well that they remain a significant concern and priority for the Philippines and for the region. To avoid possible misunderstanding and miscalculation, we agreed to establish direct communication lines at various levels up to the highest level. I therefore welcome the signing of an agreement between our foreign ministries in this regard and directed our agencies to revitalize existing bilateral mechanisms to promote further mutual trust and confidence in each other.
The president said maintaining an open line of communication will be good for both sides, explaining that untoward incidents can be prevented if the commander of the Philippine Coast Guard, the Navy, and their Chinese counterparts have open lines of communication. The president considers incidents like Filipino fishermen and the Coast Guard having conflict with Chinese authorities as a result of a lack of communication. As to the timetable, the president said there's already an existing mechanism involving a bilateral group tackling issues between China and the Philippines. From Tokyo's Asakusa hotspot for tourists to the resort island of Bali, Indonesia, restaurant owners and guides are gearing up for an influx of travelers after Beijing ends its inbound quarantine rules. Let's listen in.
以前もやっぱり中国の方が多くて、もういらっしゃる分にはすごい売り上げとしてもこちらとしてはありがたい部分はあるんですけど、うちも以前コロナ前と比べて店舗数だったりとかこういった人員もちょっと減ったりしたので、来すぎると若干キャパシティ的にオーバーする部分もあるのかなだったりとか、あとはまあ感染対策とかその辺は僕たちの方で気をつけてっていう部分はちょっと懸念している部分ではあります。
ครับก็มองกังวลก็กังวลนะครับเพราะว่าของเขายังไม่สงบนะครับของเขาติดอยู่ทุกวันนะครับแต่เราก็กลับมาก็เขาอาจจะดีนิดนึงนะครับเพราะว่าด้านเศรษฐกิจเราก็จะดีขึ้นนะครับเงินทองก็ได้สะพัดนะครับ
Belum pandemi ramai usaha ini apa lumayan ramai tamunya hampir semua kafe sih yang punya agent terutama yang punya agent Tiongkok full tiap hari full ya hampir tiap hari full apalagi dia punya agent Tiongkok Cina khusus hampir tiap hari dia paling tidak 100 orang, 200 orang masuk tiap hari.
Meanwhile, Seoul is capping flights from China, and travelers from the mainland, Hong Kong and Macau will have to test negative before travel. Mainland visitors will also be tested on arrival. Japan has already announced similar rules for China, although Hong Kong and Macau travelers are exempt. While Beijing has loosened many of its COVID restrictions, overseas travel by tour groups remains banned. And there's little sign that the availability of flights will quickly catch up to renewed demand. As a result, travel destinations throughout Asia are expecting any rebound in Chinese tourists to be slow. Indonesia, meanwhile, is aiming for just over 300 or 250,000 Chinese tourists this year, a fraction of pre-pandemic figures. Thailand, which is also not imposing new rules, is hoping for around 5 million Chinese tourists this year, less than half the number who came in 2019. Tourism accounted for nearly 20% of Thailand's national income before the pandemic, with China its largest source of foreign tourists. In tonight's other news, flood watches were in place over a swathe of California after a powerful storm dumped several inches of rain. Central and northern parts of the state were walloped overnight as a bomb cyclone fueled by a moisture-laden atmospheric river unleashed torrents of rain on already soaked ground. Take a look.
I'm staying at my daughter's house, and that's how we're preparing, like with sandbags, as you can see over here. The water didn't go inside the house, but it went inside the garage, and I had all my things, arts and crafts in there, and I lost everything. Yeah, but it's very, very sad and devastating. Yeah, to see everything that I lost. And I don't have flood insurance because my house is paid for, and it was a choice to either get it or. But from now on, I'm going to purchase flood insurance.
I left to LA on Christmas Eve for a couple days, and then flew out from LA to go to Oaxaca for 2 weeks. And my family's still there. My wife, my 3 kids. So we didn't prepare. We had no warning about this. Even my neighbors, they just literally just said, "Oh my gosh, there's flooding happening." They weren't prepared, and we were all kind of hit. Well, our garage mostly, and then we have a back unit. That's like where my mom stays when she comes in town. Like, I got to redo the entire floor, but luckily the house wasn't damaged. So it was like on the verge, maybe a quarter of an inch before it went in the house. So we got pretty lucky.
Water stop here down. I close the vents for no coming the water inside. All people put this box. I had tools. The water is here. I lose my tools in this box, maybe over 2,000.
The deadly bomb cyclone in California, massive waves crashing into homes, heavy winds knocking out power and toppling trees. The cleanup is now underway, but another storm already taking aim. More severe conditions are already underway in California. At least 2 people died, including a young child whose mobile home was hit by a falling tree. The storm came on the heels of a ferocious downpour on New Year's Eve, which had left the ground sudden and waterlogged. The National Weather Service said it was the wettest 10-day period for San Francisco in 150 years, with more than 10 inches of rain falling on the city. By Thursday afternoon, the rain was beginning to peter out, but its effects continued to be felt. The National Weather Service said winter storm warnings remain in effect across the Sierra Nevada, and flood watches remain over both central and coastal regions of California into early Friday, U.S. time. In tonight's other news, U.S. President Joe Biden said that Russian leader Vladimir Putin's order for a 2-day Orthodox Christmas ceasefire in Ukraine was simply an effort to find breathing room for his war effort. Let's listen in.
Reluctant to respond to anything Putin says. I found it interesting. He was ready to bomb hospitals and nurseries and churches, and on the 25th and New Year's, and I mean, you know, I think he's trying to find some oxygen. We're going to increase the support for Ukraine. We are going to provide the Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, the United States, to the Ukrainians, and the Germans are going to provide the Marder infantry fighting vehicles that they have to the Ukrainians. And in addition, we're going to help defend Ukraine against Russian air attacks. Germany's also announced that today that's going to provide the Ukrainians to deal with the air attacks, a Patriot air defense system. We're going to provide an additional Patriot air defense battery. Now, the war in Ukraine is a critical point. We have to do everything we can to help the Ukrainians resist Russian aggression, and Russia is not attempting to slow up. The actions they're taking are as barbaric as they were a year ago, and they're not letting up at all, at all.
Now, Ukraine and Russia celebrate Orthodox Christmas, and the Russian leader's order came following ceasefire calls from Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Russia's spiritual leader Patriarch Kirill, a staunch Putin supporter. It'll run from midday Friday, 0900 GMT, until the end of Saturday, 2100 GMT, according to the Kremlin. Kiev quickly denounced the move. In other news, global automaker Stellantis will produce electric air taxis developed by U.S. aviation company Archer. It announced on Wednesday at the major consumer electronics show in Las Vegas. Take a look. Stellantis will also invest up to $150 million in Archer and its vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or EVTOL, designed to carry 4 passengers in addition to the pilot, according to the company in a press release. Called Midnight, the vehicle looks like a small plane with several rotors on its wings and is designed to make consecutive trips of around 20 miles with a recharge time of about 10 minutes between each trip. Archer envisions an age of aerial ride-sharing, an Uber or Lyft of the skies, according to Vice President Louis Bristow last year. The two groups had previously partnered in 2021, but on a more limited scale, with Stellantis expected to provide technical assistance and access to its supply chain. This time, Stellantis is expected to mass-produce Archer's aircraft as the exclusive contract manufacturer in Covington, Georgia, in the southeast of U.S. At the annual CES Technology Mega Show in Las Vegas, the driverless public shuttles and cashierless mobile stores that are supposed to accompany the advent of the autonomous car are being shown to attendees. Take a look.
Here in here is a level 4 autonomous driving shuttle. It has no steering wheels, no braking pedals. It drives fully autonomously. It's our product together with the overall system to shape urban mobility in a new way. Compared to other autonomous driving markets, autonomous transportation with shuttles and dedicated routes opens up early opportunities to scale it in the market, to bring it to the public roads.
Really, your transportation from A to B, we're really not looking to sell this to you, right? This is going to be on demand when you need it, wherever you need it, to deliver you a unique experience that only self-driving can bring. We've developed a unique interior, really communal seating to kind of separate you from moving down the road, more like a room moving down the road, give you your time back. With autonomous technology, you're going to have early adopters who are really excited about the technology. They'll get in anything that has it. There'll be people that are a little nervous about the technology as well, and there's a lot of in between. What we've tried to do is build trust in the way we've developed the vehicle, been very transparent about our approach to self-driving.
And so one of our customers, Broadview Auto, has built a vending machine on top of our platform. So what they're able to do is customize hardware and software to build this on top of our platform, and they're able to deploy this in amusement parks, on sidewalks. So this is just one application that you're seeing, a vending machine. Other applications are security and surveillance, where you have autonomous patrolling with cameras mounted onto the iChassis platform. Another one, of course, is unmanned delivery, autonomous delivery of packages.
Autonomous vehicles have long been pitched as the new dawn of transportation, and the world's biggest tech companies have poured billions of dollars into being ready. Despite steady advances, however, robo-travel has yet to take over the open roads, and even Elon Musk's best-selling Teslas, requiring a fully attentive driver, despite the billionaire's assurances his cars will soon be autonomous. Waymo, a subsidiary of Google parent Alphabet, has been offering driverless rides to the central public in Phoenix, Arizona since 2020, but on very defined roads. Cruise, a unit of General Motors in June, was the first to get approval to carry paying passengers in robo-taxis in San Francisco, a hilly city with more complicated traffic patterns, but initially only at night and within a limited zone. In Las Vegas, where close to 100,000 convention goers were expected for the CES Expo, unmanned Ubers began hitting the streets last month in a venture with the company Motional, but always with a human on board just in case. And a glimpse of what the future of air travel could be like was on show at the recent Vietnam Motor Show in Ho Chi Minh City when Airlius, a Hanoi-based startup, unveiled what is poised to be the first electric flying car in Southeast Asia. The show, or the firm, showcased a prototype of its autonomous personal flying vehicle at the event. A single-seater made of aluminum and carbon fiber and powered by 8 brushless electric motors, it has the ability to rise up 10 meters within 10 seconds and travel at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. The prototype has flown 33 kilometers in 20 minutes and rises up to 120 meters, roughly the height of a 23-story building, on a single charge. In all, it has been tested. Mai Tian-Yu, or Mai Tian-Vu, the company's chief technology officer, told VN Express they plan to launch the maiden flight of the commercial version of Airlius by the end of this year. Airlius said it plans to sell commercially next year. The standard version will cost around $81,000 compared to, for instance, $92,000 for Swedish brand Jetson. Airlius will also offer other models costing up to $99,000 US. As my usual habit, I'd like to end the day on a positive note. Let's encourage and build each other up so that no one is left behind. And that's it for tonight's broadcast of ASEAN in Focus. I'm Alma Angeles. Stay in the news because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.